Hello, everyone. Today we have a very special guest with us, straight from Eastern Canada, Indira Fajardo.
Indira Fajardo. She is quantum biofeedback specialist. She helps clients to be proactive and optimize their health.
I'm really thankful to have you over here, and thank you so much for joining me. So, Indira ji, can you please tell me about yourself? Can you give us an introduction and what you do?
For sure. Well, thank you for having me today, Purvi. I'm so grateful to be here in your podcast today. So, my name, as you said, is Indira Fajardo, and I specialize in quantum biofeedback and holistic medicine. So, my focus is on understanding how the body works, especially in response to stress, and how these responses often leads our body to illness. So, I'm passionate about helping people understand that disease is not just a random event, but rather an adaptive mechanism designed from is designed in your body to guide us um, and to allow us to give attention towards something that we need to heal or that we need to change in a particular moment of our life.
Right, right. So, according to you, according to your perspective, why do we get sick?
That's a great question. So, from my perspective, disease is not something that our body randomly does to punish us or to seek revenge. The word itself, disease, literally means not at ease. Okay?
Oh.
So, this is something really interesting. So, what happens in your body is that when we are under stress, so not at ease, we either physically, emotionally, mentally, environmentally, an alarm goes on signaling there is something that needs attention. So it is a signal to make us change or address something that we have been neglecting. So whether it's our emotions, trauma, health, we have in this specifically right now in our daily life, we have a lot of deficiencies in vitamins, minerals, um, enzymes, etc.
Right,
Sometimes it
right.
can be our lifestyles and all of that. So this signal is a response from our body to a particular stressor. And then we have three stages of response to stress. So initially we have an alarm, then our body goes into adaptation. This is when we start seeing all the symptoms. And if the stressors remain in our body or in our environment for a long time, then our body will enter a stage of exhaustion. So at this time, our immune system will stop fighting against the stressor.
Oh, great. I mean, that means you are saying that the diseases we are having, they are not actually our enemy, but they are the alarms for it.
Exactly.
Oh God, wow. So the full concept about disease that people are having in their minds is wrong.
It is totally wrong. Like, imagine your body is so complex. Nothing happens randomly. And that's one of the things that I always try to help my clients to understand. Nothing that goes in your life is randomly. We have two minds. We have the conscious mind and we have the subconscious mind. So our subconscious mind is actually the one in charge of making 99% of the decisions that everything that happens around you. So when you're saying that disease is more like alarm than an enemy, I want you to imagine your body as a complex system that is made of several programs, and every single one of those programs is fundamentally trying to do only one thing. Can you guess what that is?
To like to show you what exactly problem you're having.
Yes, but our systems, they're all designed for to one thing, and that thing is to preserve life.
Oh, right,
Okay? So
right,
every single program that we have, they're seeking one thing: to keep you alive, to keep you
right.
breathing, to keep your systems functioning, to keep your legs moving, to keep your lungs like breathing, all of that. So when we think about that, there it's very intricate. We have so many things going on at the same time, right? But everything in your body is trying to preserve your life, whether it's with an immune response, with the digestive system, or processing your emotions, or helping you to adapt to the environment, helping you to adapt to this new job. So there are many things going on at the same time. But the fundamental thing is that every single program that is working um, at the same time in synergy all together, they are working for one thing. It's just to preserve your life. So for this, we relied on four main pillars. And these pillars, from my point of view, I like to perceive them as like the four legs of the table. We have
Oh,
food, protection, reduction, reproduction, and mobility. Okay? So
wow.
I will tell you again. To preserve life, we have four different pillars that are the most important: food, protection, reproduction, and
Introduction.
mobility. So if one
Wow.
of these pillars is compromised, our system will get out of balance. And that's when stress and disease can occur. But our body doesn't just breaks down randomly. It will react to a stressor that is threaten one of these pillars.
Wow, great. So can you just give more information about these four pillars?
Sure. So as I mentioned, these four pillars are fundamental for life. So the first one is food. So we all understand that we need nourishment to fuel the body because we
Right.
gather energy, we transform the energy through the food that we intake every single day. But for this, it is fundamental to have a proper nutrition because with a proper nutrition, our body can repair itself, maintain the energy, use the energy efficiently, and all of that. But we also have to keep in mind that under this pillar, we also have something that we call symbolic food. So, what are the things that nourish our body besides food? Like, we also have things like love, caring,
Right.
friendship, family,
Right.
relationship, because in a symbolic way, all those relationships, all those emotions that we have will nourish our body. Like we as human beings, we are social beings. That means that we need for our soul, for our development, and for our spirit, we need those connections. We need
Right.
that interaction with other people. And that plays a very important part in the way that I understand as food, because in a symbolic way, that interaction, social interaction that we have with others also nourish our emotions. Then the second one is protection. And this can be both physical and psychological. So under physical protection, we understand that we need any sort of shelter. We need a house, we need but with the house, they come other things. Like to have a house, we need to make a living. We need to earn some money so you can buy a house or you can rent a property. But
Right.
if we go like to the back and we try to understand our system is just requiring protection. Okay. So
Yeah.
sometimes we have a lot of triggers that pretty much is like modern way of this fundamental pillar. Okay. So for example, or I was also telling you that we have also the psychological protection. So under this category, we can also think that there are certain things that will make us feel unprotected. So for example, like if you feel that you're not being respected, then your protection goes down. You feel like anything can happen to you because people are not respecting you, right? We also have like the feeling of being worthy or the feeling of value. Like, does my coworkers value what I do? So that also enters under the pillar of protection. So, for instances, like our immune system is crucial to protect ourselves from harm. But what do you think happens in your body when we are in a harmful, like in a very detrimental or harmful situation every single day or at every hour or every month? At this point, our system will stop fighting and the system will adapt because we are trying also to use in a very wise manner the energy that we have. Every single day, you're able to produce an amount of energy, but you still need to keep all the other systems running. You still need to be able to breathe, to walk, to do everything that you need to do. And we don't have enough energy to concentrate everything into this way that your boss is making you feel, right?
Right.
So the system will say, you know what? We can adapt to this. We're gonna learn to live with this, and we're going to use our energy in a wisely manner because you still need to leave. So we're
Right.
going to continue with the digesting, with the respiratory system, and with everything else. But I want us to understand this very, very well. So, because our body is a very complex machine, this systems needs to continue to work efficiently every single day, right?
Right.
So, let's use a metaphor to understand this. Because people will say, like, I don't understand why my immune system is not
Yeah.
fighting against this or that, right? So picture yourself, like imagine that you are, I don't know, let's say mopping the floor, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you are at your house and you're trying to mop the floor. So you go and you mop the floor, everything is shiny, beautiful. All of a sudden the door opens and 20 people walk in and they have very, very dirty shoes.
Oh God.
Okay. So what can you do? Okay, you will grab the mop again and you will clean the floor one more time.
Again. Yeah.
Then the door opens again, and now you have 30 people like walking with their dirty shoes on your
Again.
really clean floor. So imagine this happens every 15 minutes, 30 minutes, every 5 hours, regardless of the time. What would you do in this situation?
They'll get angry. Like, what is this going on?
Right? You get angry, you don't understand what's going on, but at some point, you will realize that you're getting exhausted. You cannot
Yes.
keep like mopping and mopping and mopping and mopping
Again and
forever
again. Yes.
because you don't have more energy. At some point, you're going to faint, right? It's too much.
Perfectly.
So
Yeah.
at that time, when you realize that, listen, these strangers are not understanding how harmful it is for me that they're walking with their dirty shoes. So you at that point you understand this and you say, "Do you know what? Although I hate to have like dirty floors, for my own sanity, I will stop mopping.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly. We'll do that only.
Exactly. So just stop mopping. What happened? This is what I call adaptation in the body. It bothers you, but you
Right.
learn to live with this because your sanity is more important. So
Important.
for the body, this bothers, but we learn to live with this because I still have trillions of other programs that need my energy and I need to keep them running. So we learn to live with the dirty floors so you can continue to breathe, continue to eat, digest, and detox every day, and
Yes,
to
yes.
continue with all the other things. So this is why I always tell our clients, your body is smarter than you think, and everything
Exactly.
has a purpose, okay? So, in this way, there is no waste of time or energy. We're reusing our time and our energy in things that are more important for us to continue living. So, returning to the main pillars, we also have to the main pillars to preserve life, we also have reproductions and mobility. So
Right.
reproduction is as our survival, like our species survival depends on this. So if this pillar is also threatened, the body will prioritize resources here. Often and these resources in often will also detriment other systems, okay? So our body is in a constant battle to say, okay, it's pretty much like the CEO of a company trying to say, okay, this is the amount of income we get every month, this is the number of employees we have, this
Yeah.
is all the number of commands we have or products that we need to make. How do we do all of this? You need to administrate everything to make sure that you have the exact resources that you need to make every single system works at balance, right? So
Right, right.
with mobility, which is our like the final pillar, this one refers also to the physical ability to move and adapt. So if we feel trapped, an alarm will go on, okay?
Wow.
And if you feel you're not able to move, the movement is not only movements um, in a specific location, but the movement, if we think about the past, because all these programs are programs from the beginning of human beings. So
Right.
back in that time, everything was about life or death. It's not in between. Now our modern society has changed and has evolved very quickly, but our programs has not. So
Right.
in the past, mobility, it means like being able to escape from danger because your life is in a point that whether you run or the lion's gonna eat you.
So
Okay?
true. So true.
So yes, so these pillars are they're independent, but if you think about each of them, it makes total sense, right?
Right,
And
right.
if one of them is damaged or neglected, the body will activate a protective mechanism to adapt to stress and to preserve that and to try to bring one of those pillars into balance again.
Wow, you have given such a great example. With example, like you have just said things so clearly, so properly, and very easy to understand it. They are so good. Like you have gone on point with things properly. Beautifully explained.
Thank you.
So can you give us an example of how does this stressors work?
Like I gave you like an example of how this type of stressors can be illustrated in our day-to-day life. But sometimes people will keep thinking about this like, okay, well, probably for them doesn't make sense. I want you to also understand that our programs we have these programs since the beginning of evolution, right?
Right, right.
The majority of them are programs that they really function as if you're on a life or death situation. So I often like to use also the metaphor of a lion, right? Because in this one, I'm going to explain you exactly how we develop a disease and why we keep the disease on forever. Okay? So
Right.
imagine yourself like, or picture yourself like you see a lion, right? And this majestic lion is in his environment, right? And all of a sudden, he will have a sense that there is another lion trying to conquer his territory, right?
Yeah.
So an alarm will go on, and his biology automatically will respond to this, and it will create an urinary infection. Okay?
Oh, oh.
So, and this is so smart. Our biology is so smart. So the lion will create an urinary infection. And with this, he will go around and he will mark his territory once again.
Wow.
What the way this works is that the intruder will smell this urine, which is pretty much like, well, when you have an urinary infection, it's very acid. So
Yeah.
when the other lion smells this, it's gonna think like, oh my goodness, what type of animal have like such a pee, right?
Right,
So
right.
it's going to think like, oh my God, like this lion must be huge. It must be has like a lot of muscles. It should be like very, very hard to fight with him because
Shocking.
by the smell, it's pretty much like like I don't know, like an animal out of this planet, right?
Yeah.
So what exactly, so this serves the purpose, and the other animal will walk away without confrontation. So at this
Wow.
point, when the lion realizes that, okay, my territory is no longer under stress, there are no invasors, the urinary infection goes away
Stop.
right away without any medication, without anything. Okay? So I want us to understand that all these programs that animals has, we also
Have.
inherit those programs in our system. So we also, when we feel threatened, we develop things like that. The issue with the human being is that we have a very creative mind. So what happens with our mind? If I were a lion, instead of like, okay, letting go the urinary disease, the urinary infection because the other lion left, we humans will say, what if another lion comes next week?
Comes in. Yeah.
What if another lion comes next month? What if another lion comes next year? So
Yeah.
guess what happens? You, with your mind, in an unconscious way, you are deciding to hold onto the urinary infection.
Right,
So
right.
every single disease gets activated and it should get deactivated when the stressor goes away. But we humans, we have decided to keep on stressors for a prolonged time
Period of time. Huh?
because in our mind, for the mind, everything that we think is real. The mind is not able to recognize whether you're thinking about this or you're living this or you're reliving this. So if you have that in your mind, that means that the stressor is there. And that's the big
Right.
problem with our society, that we keep, if we have a problem, we keep thinking about it and we think and we think and we don't let it go. And because of that, we keep this type of programs with diseases on and on and on for a long time. So that
And they do many problem to us then.
exactly. But the origin of this program is to preserve your life. But because we don't understand how they work, we keep them on forever.
So, can we prevent this kind of stress from like coming in our life or harming our life?
Yes, for sure. Like when we face any type of stressors, we need to reconnect with our body. We need to learn because right now we are in such a hurry mode that the majority of us have learned to disconnect with your body. You don't longer understand, or you don't longer recognize how you're feeling. We don't have time for emotions nowadays.
Right.
You're pretty much like go 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 the entire day. So it is very important to understand that when you're feeling something, you need to allow yourself to feel that. You need to allow yourself for that emotion to go through your body and to do what needs to do. Right? For me, like I like to explain that emotion, the word emotion, E means energy, motion needs movement,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
an emotion is an energy in movement. Everything in our body, it needs to circulate, it needs to move.
Oof.
The moment that you block something, you're not only blocking the emotion, you're blocking circulation, you're blocking nutrients, you're blocking a bunch of things. So eventually, this is going to create like a bigger problem in the system. So in order for us to prevent stress, we need to adapt ourselves and understand that everything in our life happens for a reason. So the first thing that I will actually recommend is that you need to learn to be grateful for what, regardless what situation you're going through. You need to say like, well, I'm very grateful for this situation. Probably at this moment, I don't understand what this situation that I'm facing is teaching me, but I can assure you that that situation is there to teach you something. Okay,
Right.
so being grateful is number one. You can also always keep in mind how your body responds. So we need to reconnect with our body and to reconnect with our sensations. So pay attention how your body responds when you're reading an email. Pay attention how your body responds when you're driving, when you're talking with certain people. And once you pay attention, you will realize that, okay, like how come my muscles are under such a stress? That is a reaction from your body. So when you know that certain people or certain things make you react
Energy.
in that way, once you're
Exactly.
conscious about that, once you're conscious, you can implement things that will help you release that tension, right?
Tension. Yeah.
Because every time our body is under stress, we will or like our neurotransmitters will segregate cortisol, right? So we all know
Yeah.
what cortisol is, but um it's very interesting, and I feel like people need to understand that cortisol originally, it's made, or stress originally was built in your system so you can have that level of energy to escape, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But right now, we read an email, and then your cortisol level is gonna go up, 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 up. But you're not running, you're not using that energy. So at some point, that cortisol, it becomes a toxicity in your body. Okay?
Yes.
So when we are under a bunch of stress like that, I want to let everybody know that if you feel like you're getting stressed and nervous, there's a way to stop that, because you always need to think like, is it my life actually in danger?
Right. Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
am I really like dying here?
No, no.
No. No, right? This is just an email. So it's good to have like that type of like triggers in your mind and remind yourself like, okay, am I actually dying out of reading this
All
email?
right.
No. So if you're dying, you just need to breathe and said, you know what? It's not a pleasant email, but I'll deal with this in another way. So the other thing is that when you smile, even if you do a fake smile, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So every time you smile, your neurotransmitters of serotonin will segregate. So
Oh,
serotonin is the hormone of happiness.
yeah.
So when you're smiling, you will stop you will stop the segregation of cortisol.
So,
So that's like another little tip that sometimes if you're under a lot of stress, just smile.
wow, that's great. We should at least try fake smiling if we can't smile really.
Exactly. Just smile, and you are going, in a couple of seconds, you are going to start feeling how your body changes and how the level of stress will go down, and you are going to start feeling relaxed and comfortable. If the level of stress is too high and smiling by itself, it doesn't help you, you can always hug yourself. If you hug yourself
Yeah.
while you're smiling, you will see that dopamine and serotonin will segregate, and then you will feel at ease at no time.
Oh, wow. Great. They are two like easiest tips that we can do to maintain
Exactly.
our cortisol levels. So superb. What a way. That's easiest way.
Exactly, exactly. And I think it is very important for us to understand that we are under constant stress, like under continuous stress during our life, right? Every
Right,
single
right.
day. But we also have to keep in mind that we have like emotion and mental stress, they play a huge role in our daily life. So we need to train our mind to think that you are safe and you are in a safe environment. Every time those stressors kick the door, you need to say, like, no, like, I'm actually safe. I'm not dying.
Wow. We should definitely try it. And I believe the people who are watching it will definitely try because you're saying it and it's the easiest step that they do, right?
It
It's the
is. It is.
easiest step.
It's funny
Wow.
because I actually have like something that happened to me on my last trip. A couple of months ago, I went to Mallorca to the Biofeedback Congress. And it was funny because on I believe it was on the second day, towards the end of the conference, it was pretty much like the end of the day. We had a small coffee break, like 10 minutes coffee break.
Yeah.
So I was talking. And then when they said, okay, in 2 minutes, everybody needs to be back to the room, I said, you know what? I'll run to the washroom. So I went to the washroom, but everybody was already going back to the conference. Okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I went to the washroom, and all of a sudden, uh, the door, the door locked in, right?
Oh,
So the door got clogged. So I went, I did my things, and when I was about to like exit
mm.
like the little cubicle, I couldn't open the door.
Oh goodness.
And then this was in a big hotel in Spain, and the conference was in the basement, right?
Oh.
So the conference was about to end, and I'm fully trapped in this washroom. So I start yelling like, help, help, help. I kick the door. I'm trying to do everything, but this door is not, it was not like a normal washroom door, because usually the washrooms you have like the open like at the bottom
Yeah,
or
yeah,
at the
yeah.
top. No, this door was from the floor to the ceiling. Okay?
Oh my
So there is
goodness.
no way to exit. And then I was trying to open, but it was totally locked. So I yelled for more than 5 minutes. At some point, I was kind of like experimenting like an anxiety or a panic attack because I started feeling like, okay, I'm trapped here. No one is able to hear me
So,
because they have loud noises in the conference. Like we are in a basement. The conference is about to finish. So if everybody goes home, I'm going to be here probably spending the night.
oh
So I'm
goodness.
yelling and yelling. Nothing happens. Then I see, because I like to pay attention to how my body is reacting to this situation. I notice that my heartbeats goes up, right? And
Yeah.
now hyperventilating, okay? I'm sweating. My anxiety level is going up. I see that I'm under a lot of stress.
Yeah.
And then at some point, I start breathing and I tell to myself, listen, you're not dying, okay?
Oh, wow.
The worst case scenario, because I like always to think about the worst. The worst case scenario, you're going to spend the night here, okay? Then I think about this and I said, okay, I can tire myself like of yelling and kicking and punching the door. After 10 minutes, if it didn't work out, even if I try for 3 hours, it's not going to make a difference. So I
Exactly.
need to stop. And now I can feel my body. I can feel the level of cortisol going up. I don't need more toxins in my body.
Right.
This is not the answer because at this point I'm not able to run anywhere. So, do you know what I did? I sat down, I concentrated in breathing, I start smiling, and then I would think like, oh my God, I must look like a fool sitting here smiling and laughing. And I was just thinking about funny things and good things, memories that will make me laugh. I started laughing, I hugged myself, and I can tell you, in less than a minute, I was already calm.
Wow.
It took 45 minutes for someone to come in. Okay? So after 45 minutes, someone came in. They went and they looked for a system in the hotel. So someone from maintenance came, they opened the door, and I was able to come out. So
Oh
we
goodness.
always have the, the responsibility to keep our body
At
calm,
peace.
right? At
Exactly.
peace. So if if I didn't know like all these techniques, they will probably find me like, I don't know, on the
Fainted.
floor, faint.
Exactly.
Like for if I keep yelling and yelling, I'll be like dehydrated or something like that. But no, I decided, you know what? This is the situation. I now after 10 minutes, I understand there's nothing else I can do. I just need to calm down.
Goodness. Wow, that experience, oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
I
Yes.
still remember once in childhood, I had faced this same issue. Like I was going somewhere and some marriage or something kind of some occasion was there, and I was locked in the bathroom. And like with like within 5 minutes, I was in tears. I want to come out of here because I was small,
Yes.
right, at that point of time. Or now also, if someone says I'm locked somewhere, I'll do the same thing over again.
Yes. Because we have like something that we call muscular memory. So your muscles, your body remembers that sensation, that stress that you went through.
Exactly.
So, but I was about to say, after that experience, I felt like, what if I like develop anxiety, or you know what, like what
Yeah,
is like
panic
panic, the
attack
panic that
kind of.
people have like for small spaces? Oh, I forgot the name.
Um,
Mm, oh my God.
like a phobia.
Claustrophobic.
Yeah,
Yes, I was
claustrophobia.
like,
Yeah,
what if I
claustrophobia.
develop like claustrophobia out of this? So that's why I said, you know what? No, I need to change the reaction to my body so it doesn't become a trauma.
Exactly.
right?
And that's very good move you have taken. I'm like, okay, at that point of time, will I be able to think also about all these things?
Yes.
I need to stop myself. I will be with tears banging the door. Open, open, open.
Yes. Yes. So, yes. So that's why I feel like it's very, it's the reason why I'm sharing all this is because sometimes people think like, oh, well, like when you do therapy, you go there to heal one specific thing. No, but from my perspective, like the way I perceive like the work that I do, it goes beyond that. Like it's to increase the level of awareness of how your body works and how you can prevent yourself like when you're put like in different situations throughout your life, right? So there are multiple methods and techniques that you can always incorporate, but this is something very simple that you can implement regardless the
Exactly.
situation, regardless where you are. Like you can implement this, right?
Yes,
And
and anyone can do it very easily.
exactly, exactly. And yes, so I think it's very precious when we know exactly how our body works and what is the main reason why we are reacting um towards multiple things at the same time. So when you have in the back of your mind that your body is just trying to keep you safe, to keep you alive, it changed the narrative in your mind, and then it helps you to understand that, okay, well, I understand that I don't really like the situation, but I'm not dying.
Yeah, right. That's the least we can do with ourselves, right?
Yes, that's
And
right.
you have shared so much knowledgeable things. Like it was very informative, very knowledgeable. The session has went superb, more than
Thank
what
you.
I had imagined.
Oh, thank you.
And before we wrap up, what will you give a piece of advice to people who are dealing with all these things or to the audience, whatever? A piece of
Yes.
advice you like to give.
Yes. So I would like to say that prevention starts with awareness. We don't need to, there's no need for you to wait until you develop like an autoimmune disease to seek for help. You can like I always like to tell to my clients, like being symptom free, it doesn't mean you're healthy.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah, yeah.
So, prevention starts with awareness, and awareness starts with understanding how your body functions, right? So,
Yeah.
you can also implement different techniques or different therapies. Like, I'm a quantum biofeedback specialist, so obviously, I'm going to say to you, like, you can try quantum biofeedback because this is one of the techniques that actually enables you in one session to pretty much like understand everything that's happening in your body at that
Wow.
fresh and in that moment in that time. So with quantum biofeedback, we are able to pretty much let translate all the messages that your body is trying to communicate with you. So during one session, you can know like whether you have deficiency or excess of vitamins,
Wow.
minerals. You can know if there are certain emotions and certain traumas they have been blocked in your system for an X amount of time. You can learn things about your past life. We can like during the quantum biofeedback session, we don't only scan your body to find like all the things that are unbalanced, but at the same time with energetic medicine, we will provide treatments to balance out the energy. Okay,
Wow.
so it is to this point, and I have tried, when I said I have tried pretty much everything that exists, is because I have. And to
Great.
this point, I decided to concentrate in quantum biofeedback because in every single session, it will literally work on a very specific thing that the client needs with thousands of frequencies and therapies at the same time. So
Wow.
I would say the level of response of the body in the majority of the cases is immediate.
Great.
It is, yes, it is unbelievable. So I will definitely encourage the audience who is listening to this podcast. If you haven't heard about quantum biofeedback, investigate. It is the latest technology that exists, and it uses quantum physics, and it also uses all the ancient medicine that exists in one single session to help you reduce stress in your life, to help you prevent any disease. And if you're suffering from inflammation, pain, or whatever name you want to give to your suffering, I can assure you that quantum biofeedback can help you.
Wow, that's great. We should definitely get to know more about quantum biophysics, and that's superb.
Yes. Well,
And
yes.
one,
Well, there are actually other things that I will also encourage people to do. Meditation is always good. Yoga
yeah,
is another great exercise that is going to help you balance the energy of the body. Also, we need to keep in mind that our body needs energy, and the way that we provide energy to our body is through nutrition. So if you have like an imbalance, regardless that what type of imbalance is, you can always check on your nutrition and see what are the things that are triggering you those alarms, okay? I also noticed that 99% of my clients don't drink enough water. And that's another
oh,
topic. Yes, it's crazy. I don't know how that it is how that plays in India, but in Canada, there is a lot of advertising for pop, coffee, and multiple drinks. So throughout
yeah,
the day, people keep drinking and drinking so many
yeah.
things. But remember, your body is 70% water,
Water.
and every single system that needs to balance, control, like work in any way, your systems need water. They don't need coffee, or they don't need like sugary drinks.
Sugary
They need
drinks.
water.
Yes,
So
yes.
increase the amount of water, check your nutrition, get enough sleep, and find a therapist or find someone that is going to help you work with your emotions, because
Wow.
we all have traumas, we all have experiences, we all have things from our past, especially from our childhood, that we don't like to talk about. But I can assure you, those dirty things, or those things that make you feel uncomfortable from your past, that have an emotional component, eventually will trigger an alarm and will develop an illness. So you need to find
Correct.
someone to talk about this and to liberate those emotions, so to prevent illnesses, and also to assure your body to remain balanced.
Wow, great. We should definitely look after all these things. We should look after ourselves mainly. Okay, we
Yes.
should look after our body. How is our body going on? What symptoms it's showing and things. So true.
Yes, yes. Because if you see, like, for like the majority of us, if you buy a house, you will buy an insurance. If the
Yeah,
majority people buy like furniture, and they buy insurance for the furniture,
so true.
people get a cell phone and they get insurance for the cell phone. But and the majority of the time, if you buy a brand new car, you have to bring the car to the garage every so often to do the maintenance. But who here, and I'll ask this to the audience, how many times do you do maintenance to your body,
Nobody does. Nobody.
right? So
We'll say we don't have time for that. We
the
are very
only
busy.
the and this is why we develop disease, because this is the alarm. The system is saying, you know what? You have been living 40 plus years without maintenance. I need you to stop doing what you're doing.
So true, so true. We also need rest, kind of.
Yes, we all need rest. We need to learn how to listen to our body. We need to provide maintenance to our body. And
So
this is
true.
the way we can preserve health, and this is the way that we can get all without developing any of these things that are not necessary. There is one thing for sure in life, and that's that we're all going to die. That since the day you're born, there is one day that you're going to die. That is for sure.
For
But
sure.
you don't need to die out of a disease,
Yeah, yeah, right. That's
right?
true.
So we can live a happy and harmonious life when you do any sort of maintenance to your body.
Yes, perfectly said. Very well said. And it was very informative having you over here. Once again, Indira ji, thank you, and thank you for coming over here, for giving your time to me, for speaking about so many informative things and like informing people of many different things in
Thank
life,
you.
and why it is important to take care of ourselves, to know about what symptoms we are having in our life. You have said very like detailed explanation for everything with examples. It was very informative session, and I had a great time with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it was a pleasure for me having this podcast with you. I had a wonderful time too. I love informing people, and I also love this opportunity of knowing that this is going to get out there and more people are going to be aware with this. And then, like, the bottom line for me is whether or not, regardless what is your situation, please always seek and do some types, any sort of maintenance to your body.
Yes, definitely we should do it. And once again, thank you so much, Indiraji, for being
Thank
here.
you.
It was a
Thank-
very informative session, and I loved it. I loved the energy. I loved the session. It was superb.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I feel blessed. Thank you so much for inviting me.